Amber here of Night Owl Collage. Welcome back to my channel. I have a fun project for you today that you can either use as a 12 days or 13 days of Christmas gift package, or you can turn it into some kind of junk journal, whatever you would like to do with it. But it's really fun and it kind of upcycles some things. But first, before we get into that, I need to make sure that my swap partner isn't watching this video. So, swap partner, if you are watching, stop, go watch something else. Now I can show you what I have, what I have made for my swap partner, but we're gonna make it slightly different today. What I had is, I had a bunch of makeup bags that I didn't know what to do with. They were just, I had like a ton of them and they were just kind of sitting around. So I was like, well, what if I make like a booklet out of these makeup bags? So that is what I decided to do for this 13 days of Christmas project. So I actually put a greeting card, I'm actually gonna stick something in here, a gift in here. It's a money holder or gift card holder. And then I only glued the top and bottom so I could slip a ribbon here. So it's just these bags, they're all numbered, 1 through 13. And some of them, I tried to pick ones that would go with my color scheme. You know, it's mostly blue, white, and silver, but I've got a little bit of pink in there. This one I had to paint. I just used fabric paint over it. And these decorations I just got from the Dollar Tree. So I just got these snowflake stickers, the numbers, all that from the Dollar Tree. So this one was already silver. I just stuck a snowflake on it and some little sticker gems. This one I left pink, just to have some pink in there. And then this one I covered with ribbon. This is like a sticker here. So I've got these. I had like wooden snowflakes and I just kind of stamped them on there. Some ribbon. I used tissue paper and Mod Podge to cover the back of that one. And then I made a little pocket on the top of this one. I used Christmas labels to cover the back of this one. This one is covered with a greeting card. This one is fabric paint. And then I just added some tassels and things like that. So I'm putting a gift in each one of these envelopes for each day. If you don't have makeup bags, I realize not everybody has a ton of makeup bags like I had. There's lots of options you can do. You can get makeup bags from like the thrift shop for really cheap. So you can use envelopes like these that we can bind together. We just want something that is sturdy. This is the binding we're gonna do is a single sheet binding. So it's not gonna be folded. Like you saw it with the makeup bags, it's just a single layer, but you want that layer to be sturdy. So you could use envelopes like this. You could use greeting cards. You could use watercolor paper, envelopes. And so what I found for us to use is I found these little bags at the Dollar Tree, and they were like 2 for $1. So they came in packs of 2. And I can just slip a gift in there, and then I'm thinking you maybe just close it with maybe a Velcro dot or a paper clip or something, because I don't want to actually scrunch these closed. I want to keep them open like that. Okay, so I'm doing, I can't remember if I put 12 or 13 in here. So for like a 12 days of Christmas thing. So you can add a cover to this. I'm just using my first bag as the cover on both of these because it says Merry and Bright. So I'm just using that, but you can create a separate cover for that as well. So my second one is just a greeting card that I glued and sewed together so it becomes like a pocket here. If I can open it up. So I've got like a pocket for my second one. Then this one, and then this one is going to be, oh, I think I want it on this side. This is going to be another flip out here, for a small gift. I'm I'm going to attach that to this. I might want to do it this side. I gotta think about that. Let's see what side. Actually, I might want to do it this way. Yeah, I think I'll do it that way. So then it's just this little gift bag that I got, I think, at Walmart or something. And I took the handle off. There was like a little handle there that I just took off. So that's going to be another page. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was another one of those money holder cards. And they are, let me show you. So they're like this, and they have this. So what I did was I just turned this to the back, and then I sewed that on here, and then glued this together. So that is a pocket right here. That's a pocket, and that can be a little tuck spot there if I like. So that's gonna flip out like that. So that is, I keep losing count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this one is going to be a page that flips out like this. Again, it's another pocket here and a tuck spot on the back. And then this one is going to be on opposite sides, so they flip out like this. And then this is my last one here. So how do we bind these together? Well, I will tell you. We're going to be using a macrame knot called the Lark's Head knot. And it's very simple, but we need to make some measurements and some holes and things like that first. So what you're going to need is you're going to need something to bind with. You can use waxed linen thread. I'm using this twine because that's the only red I have, and I want red. You're going to need some kind of pokey tool, like an awl. You're going to need a strip of paper the size of your tallest page. You're going to need a ruler, some scissors, and you're going to need some either bookbinding needles or tapestry needles. You can make do with just one. That's what I did with the other one I showed you with the makeup bags. But I found my stash, so I'm going to be actually using several needles to make things go faster. So what we're going to do is first we need to make these sewing holes. So you're going to take your strip of paper that's the size, your strip of paper that's the exact size of your largest page. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to fold this in half to find the center. Okay? And I'm going to make a mark there. Okay. Then this is how I'm going to do it. Okay? You don't have to do it this way. You can do it any way you want. I am going to make a mark every inch. Oops. Every inch here. And if I put this one here, it's going to be a little less than ½ an inch from the bottom, but I do want a full ½ inch. So this one will be just a bit shorter, but I'm going to bring that in ½ inch from the edge. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Every inch, except that last one, I'm going to come out ½ inch. Okay, so those are going to be my sewing holes. And we're going to make these holes a ½ inch from the edge. So I'm going to make Need to zoom in just a bit. Okay. So I'm going to make a mark, a couple of marks, 1/4 inch from the edge, just so I have a line to guide me. And then we're going to connect those. Okay, so that's our 1/4 inch edge there, and I'm just going to make sure that I make those marks at the intervals on that 1/4 inch line. So ideally, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ideally, I would have 9 needles to help me with this, but I don't have that many. So I just clipped this strip to my page, and I'm just going to use the guide to poke the holes. I'm going all the way through up here since my twine is pretty thick. You probably don't need to go all the way that far if you're using like waxed linen thread. So I'm just getting all 9 holes. You can see they're on the back there. Okay, and we're going to do that with each page. Okay, so that's my first page. I'm going to set that to the side. Now this one I want pretty much centered, so I'm going to do my best to center that on there, and then I'm going to clip here. Since this isn't as tall as the other one, I just want to make sure it's pretty centered there. And then I'm going to skip these 2 holes and do the other 7. So this is how we're going to do the sewing holes. So I'm going to speed through this process for you. So you just adjust the holes to the smaller pages where you would like them to sit. So that's our second page. Okay, so this one I do want to sit lower on my page. So I'm going to bring it down to about here. Actually, I think maybe, this is more where I want it. I don't want it to sit too low. It's a little close to the top, but I think that's gonna be okay. All right, so we don't need that anymore. So what we're gonna do, is we're going to start with our cover, okay, and we're going to lay it down upside down so that the top is up here, the bottom is to the left. And I'm actually going to take out these what do you call them? Strings, ties, because they're adding too much bulk at the top, and I definitely don't want to add that bulk in. But I will use them in a different way. I think I will use them to make a closure. I want to try to get it out. There we go. So I'm just going to untie these, and then we'll make a closure in a different way. So I'm just going to take those out. Okay. So we have our first page. So we're going to take our twine or our wax linen thread, and we're going to measure out about 4 times the height of the book. And we're going to need however many holes that you have for this, okay? So I have 9, so I'm going to make 9 of these. So I will be right back. Okay, so you can actually make these holes spaced a little farther apart, maybe 1.5 inches if you don't want to do this many holes. So we're going to need a string for each one of these. So I'm going to thread one of my needles here. Okay. And I'm going to come up the first hole. And it really doesn't matter which hole you start with because they're all separate threads. Okay, so we're going to come up through this hole, but we're also going to go back down through that hole. Be careful not to split your thread. Okay, so that we're going to have this loop. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to unthread that, or take the needle off there, and we're going just to make sure the ends are even here, and we're going to pull that through. So we have our loop and we have our threads. Okay, so we have our loop now. We're going to take the ends. This is just like we're doing our ribbon topper on a tag. We're just going to put those ends through the loop and pull through. And that's why we need a sturdy page paper here, so that you don't end up tearing this or scrunching it. This fabric is pretty sturdy, so it's not going to really scrunch. So we're going to do that for each one of these holes. That's how we're going to attach. And then you can rethread with both threads, both of these threads on the one needle. So then that it's less time consuming to have to, you know, not to have to rethread each time you do the knot. So if you have as many needles as you have threads, it's less time consuming. But I think I only have 5 here, so. Okay, so we're gonna do the second one here. And we're just going to do this all the way down. There's my loop. I'm going to make sure my ends are even here. Make sure that's all even. Pull my ends through the loop and pull that. Okay, and then I'm going to rethread those ends through my needle. Okay, so that's needle number 2, thread number 2. So I'm going to go and speed through the rest of these. Okay, let me get this one rethreaded. Okay, so now we have all our threads. I'm going to bring them down here and let them hang off the table. And most of them have a tapestry needle on them. I think I have 6. So we're going to take our next page, which is my card page, the pocket, and I'm going to place it over those holes. So I'm going to take this needle. Okay, here's the thread with the needle. It's a double thread. We're going to separate those threads over that hole. Okay, we're going to take the needle. We're going to go down through the hole, and I want to show you this here. So we're going to go down through this hole underneath this page and between the threads. Okay. I'm going to tighten that up and let that hang down there. So again, we're going to separate the threads here over the hole. We're going to take our needle, our threaded needle. We're going to go, we're not going through both layers, we're just going through this top layer. So we're going to go down through the hole and between those 2 threads. Okay, you see that? It's not going through this layer, it's going just through the top layer and between those 2 threads there. I'm going to do that all the way down. Separate over the hole, down through the hole, and between the threads. Okay, so we didn't need to do this top and bottom hole, but now we're going to come back with our next page and we are going to start with that top hole. I'm just going to take this thread out. Again, this is the top, this is the bottom. So we're just going to do the same thing through all of these. Okay, for our next one, I've got this bag, this small bag. So I'm going to attach that right here. So we're going to skip these first three. And we're just going to start with the fourth one. And do the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of these on just like I showed you, except for the last page. The last page or the back cover is going to be just a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on and I'll be right back. All right, I'm ready to put on the last page here. You can see here that I actually tugged too hard on this piece and I tore that. So, but it's attached in these three places, so I'm not too worried about that. So we're going to set this on top just like we did the other ones. So for the last page, we are going to do something a little bit different. Okay, so for the last page, we're going to come up from the bottom. Actually, let me remove this first. Okay, so we're going to come up from the bottom of the page to the top. Okay. Make sure our threads aren't twisted here. I'm just going to pull that back a little bit. We're going to do that for each one of these. Let's bring it up. Bring it up this way. Closer. So coming up from the bottom. Just leaving my threads on the top. Okay. Okay, so back to the first one. Okay, we're going to make sure that our threads aren't twisted here. Okay, and we're going to come back down through these two threads. Okay, and pull that tight. And we don't need the needle on it anymore. Okay, that's it for that. Take the needle off. So make sure my threads aren't twisted here. I'm going to come down through those two threads and remove my needle. So make sure my threads aren't twisted here. These two threads here, separate them and put the needle right through both of them. And remove my needle. Come through these two threads here. Pull and remove the needle. Okay. So the last step is to take each thread. Okay, and make sure I'm in the frame here. Okay, so we're going to take each thread and we're going to wrap it around the inside. So that one goes on that side And we're going to pull this one through to this side. Okay. Okay, so we have those two threads that are wrapping around that knot that we just made. And we're going to tie a square knot here. So right over left, and then left over right. And you can either snip it off right there, or you can tie a little bow. I think I might do little bows on this one. Have lots of little bows. Want little bows. Okay, and then I'm just going to snip that off. So I'm going to zoom out on the next one. Okay, so I have my two threads here, and I'm going to thread them through that last page to the inside. I can use one of my needles if that helps, just to pull it through. So that's one side. And I'm going to take the other side and pull it to this side. So I'm going to do right over left. And left over right. And I'm going to tie a little bow. That off. One more time. I am pulling this a little too tight, so make sure that you don't tighten it too much. So we're going to take these two threads here off this one knot and thread them on either side of that knot to the inside of the back page. Okay. Pull that one back this way. Right over left. Keep that a little loose. Left over right. And then my little bow. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these. And then I'll show you how we're going to attach this other little bag to the other side, because I do want it to flip out. So I need to do the same kind of binding instead of just stitching it on with the machine, because I do want the flip. Okay. So now I want to attach this one here so that it flips out like this. Okay, so I'm going to bring back this template here, and I'm going to make my holes. I'm about right here. So I'm going to clip that. And make my holes. so since this is just 2 layers, we're going to do the same thing we did for the front, the cover and the back cover. So we're going to, we just need a bit of thread. We need 4. So I'm going to make these the holes in the bag. So take this one here, make sure I make the holes in the bag. Okay, so now we have the holes in the bag. So I'm going to turn this over, I believe, and work it this way, because I think I want the, no, I think I'm going to do it this way, because I think I want the bows on this side. Okay, so again, we're going to come up through the bottom, we're going to go back down, we're going to make sure that these ends are even, and we're going to put the ends through the loop and pull. Okay, I'm going to do that 4 times. Okay, so now we're going to attach this one here. So again, we're going to do like we did the back cover, and we're going to come up through the bottom. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this section here. I'm going to make sure my threads aren't twisted. Looks like they're twisted right here. And then I'm going to go through that loop there and pull that. And I don't want to pull too tight because of this paper here. And it tore the last time. So I'm going to take the needle off that one. I'm going to go up through the second one. Make sure my threads aren't twisted. Go through those 2 loops. Take my needle off. Okay. Now I don't want the bulk of the bows inside, so I'm going to go ahead and tie them outside and see how that works. I might actually, just to make it a little sturdier, I think I'm going to wrap this around and come back to the front. Now we wrapped it around before and tied it inside, but I'm going to wrap it back around to the outside. I'm going to take the other one, go inside, and wrap it back around to the outside, because I do want the bow on the outside. So right over left, and left over right. And a bow. And if you want to make sure that your bows don't come undone, I mean the square knot will keep the knot there, but your little bows, if you want to make sure they're there, stay there. I wouldn't double knot it just because that's going to add bulk. So I would just put a little bit of glue in the knot so that it doesn't come undone. Okay, so again, I'm going to take these, wrap them into the inside here. Okay, we're gonna go on the inside. And then I'm gonna wrap them around back to the outside. Okay, and then do my square knot. Right over left, left over right. And then a bow. All right, there we have it. So we've got our book here that actually flips open flat, so that's why I really like this binding, because it does lay flat. I've got all different sizes of pockets and bags here, and this one flips out on this side. We've got this one, the tuck spot, and then these two that flip out like this in our last page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of embellishing. I'm going to add some closures to the top and maybe a closure here, and I'll come back and show you the finished project. All right, guys, I added a few little closures and things like that. So I added eyelets to the top of both layers and just used those strings that I pulled out of here to make a little bow to close the top here. I used a large gold paper clip for this one, which I'll probably hang a charm off. I don't have any Christmas charms right now. I gotta go get some, but I'm gonna hang a little charm off that one. And then I had this little clothespin topper here. That was cute. And then this one, I stapled this down so it didn't flip out. It's now a little tuck spot. I'm going to add an embellishment here so it doesn't say insert a gift card here, because I can use this for a gift card. I just don't want it to say that there. So I'll probably put a little embellishment there. And then I did another green ribbon on this one. This one has the tuck spot, and I used a little, what do you call that? A bull clip? I can't remember. Binder clip? Something like that. A clip at the top of that one. And this one, I used a little, it's like a pin, like you would wear a pin. And it didn't have anything on the top of it, so I just added some of these sticky gems. I'll probably maybe get a charm to glue on top of that instead of these, but I wanted to put something on there for the moment. So now I just gotta fill it with goodies and then it'll be good to go. I decided not to do a closure on this one. I think it's fine just how it is because of all these little bows and things hanging off. I didn't want to add too much to it. I like the way it looks like this. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, guys, and I hope you do something really fun with it. Let me know what other ideas you have to a binding like this, what you can use and upcycle. So enjoy, have fun with it, and make someone happy this Christmas season. I will see you again soon, guys. Have a great day. Bye.